Dobrze, kochani, dobry wieczór wszystkim. Miło mi Was powitać na finałowym etapie konkursu Daiquiri na najlepszy rum do Daiquiri 2024. Wybraliście jurorzy, wy jako jurorzy wybraliście 16 najlepszych próbek, przyznaliście im punkty. Ja to potem poskładałem, wyszło nam to, co wyszło. Byłem bardzo, bardzo zaskoczony, jaki był tego efekt. Naprawdę kompletnie się tego nie spodziewałem. No i po wielu późniejszych, niezależnych zupełnie, jak się okazało, w efekcie sytuacjach ode mnie, przykładaliśmy, tam szukaliśmy terminu chyba z 5 czy 6 razy. Ostatecznie wiedząc, że już nie znajdę więcej czasu w tym roku na podsumowanie tego konkursu, stwierdziłem, że to jest jedyna data, kiedy może się to wydarzyć. Więc witam Was wszystkich. Spotkanie będzie bardzo ciasne, ponieważ już mamy opóźnienie 4-minutowe, a każdy z prezentujących ma 10 minut na to, aby opowiedzieć o swoich projektach, może o firmie, może troszeczkę o historii. Ktoś tam mówił, że 5 minut wystarczy, ktoś ma tendencję do rozgadywania się, więc będę musiał tej cenzury czasowej pilnować, wyjątkowo ja dzisiaj. I tyle, tak? Więc zacznijmy i, i niech się dzieje. Okay, guys, let's start the session. And I will ask you to say some words about your projects, about your ideas, about this, what you did, and why your rum or cachaça, because we have also cachaça here, is so good, and did we did like it so much. So the turn is yours. We are starting from Esteban from Family Richie. And Esteban, the space is yours. You have 4 minutes.
4 minutes. All right.
No,
Perfect.
10. No, don't worry.
So first of all, thank you, Chris, to make this nice competition, and thank you for all what you do for the rum industry, because I think that you're doing a lot, and it's very nice for that kind of the kind of our company. So thank you. So I am Esteban. I am the co-founder of the Family Richie company. So we started the project 5 years ago with my brother Morgan. And so we are independent bottler based in south of France. Our philosophy is to make some selection of different kind of rum. So we are very open to every kind of rum. It can be pure juice rum, molasses, pot still, colon, from the Caribbean, from the South America, from everywhere, because we think that there is some good rums everywhere, but we just need to find the right cask. But what we love in the rum, this beautiful spirits, is the diversity, because there is so many different kind of profile and so many different things. Like if you compare to the cognac, for example, in the cognac or in the whiskey, I think that there is not so many different kind of. Why we decide to start with the rum. So before to start the commercialization, we've been working like 3 years in the project. So we traveled everywhere, a lot of different countries to buy some beautiful barrels that we loved. And then we decide to choose the philosophy of the blending, because for us the blending is very nice because you can get more complexity and you also can create new rum, new things, new profile, new flavors. Like this is the first, this is the same than if you cook something, you add this and you add this and you get this. So I think it's nice to have some independent bottler that makes some selection and that they showcase different production and different culture. But we really wanted to bring something new, and to bring something new. I think that the best things was to like to create some different blends. So we have, I think that we have a large range. We have a lot of different bottles, different range. We start with some rum, like very easy to drink, very sweet, 40 degrees. And we're going up to some very special single cask, very old. Sometimes, we do some crazy things like we blend some very, very old that people think that we only can bottle it like this, but like for example, we blend a Caroni with a Biel, and so this is one of the first limited edition that we made. And on the paper, everybody was crazy. Was like, why they did it? They don't respect the reagents. They don't respect the beer. They don't respect the Caroni. But when people taste it, they understand why we did it, because there is something very new, very different, and like what we want to get when we create a blend is to get a lot of flavors, a lot of diversity, and a lot of complexity. And like for us, it's not important to like if some if two things or three things or four different rooms works together, we can mix them together, because at least the most important things this is the tasting. You see what I mean? So so yeah, a lot of different things. And so for today, we're also going to talk about the white rum that we made. So this is our divergence range. We have three different cuvées. The first one, so divergence number one, is Grog and Hamden. The second one is Hamden and Grog, and the third one is Grog and Portmore. So what we wanted to do with this range is to buy some rum that they are very different, different profile, different still, so and different how can I say that's different? Yeah, different profile, and to make some very different things, and to see what we can get. So the divergence number one, the grog and Anden. So the Anden is Anden H. So this is a very very highest tiers rum. We have 40% of the Portmore and 60% of the grog, and it's something very special because you have at the same time the fruit and the expressive things from the Anden, and this very fruity notes, and you also have the pure juice cane, the tasting of the cane, the sugar, with the grog, because the grog, so this is made in Cap Vert, and they only do pure juice rum. They do also long fermentation, like the Handen, so it's not long as the Handen, but this is between 1 week and 10 days. So you get a lot of different flavors. I'm going to get the drinks too. Um, I take a drink. Sorry. So yeah, something very complex because as I was saying, you have the pure juice, you have the cane, and you have the IST and the fruity notes from the Hamden. And we also made something a bit special on those products because before to blend them together, we put it in amphora. So I don't have the word in English, but this is like a terquite. How can I say that? Let me check how we say that. Sorry, my English is not already very good, so I have to check how we say that. Uh,
We have some French people here, so
It's called
they
clay.
they can.
Clay
Florent,
and
comment
for
ça
us.
va? You good?
Ça va, salut.
Ça
C'est
va bien?
clay. Tu veux dire la terre cuite?
Ouais, terquite.
Ouais. Clay pot stills.
Okay,
Ah non,
okay,
clay and for us.
okay. So yeah, we put the rum during 1 year in the clay. We say like this.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay, in the clay, and it's so nice for the texture because you get a very nice texture, more like oil, and it's very nice at the tasting, very interesting. And also you so doesn't change the flavors, but you lose the alcohol notes. So it's also so much better at the tasting. And then we blend it together in. So this is a new thing. This is a stainless steel cask. So and there is a part of the cask which is a bit special, and you also lose the alcohol notes. So it's very nice because what we want to have is so much flavor, but without the alcohol. So the alcohol is also important because that gives you the flavors, but you don't have to feel it. And the steel cask is very nice for those reasons. The ABV is 55 degrees. I think that was the right ABV because it's not too much, not too low. Like we made so many different tests, and this is where we find the right balance. So we made a small reduction. I think that at the beginning it was about 64, 65 degrees because the grog from the Cap Vert was about 44 degrees because they can't make the distillation up to 45 degrees. And this is why this is some very ISTS rum. So yeah. So on that rum, you can get some sugarcane juice, some lime, some notes of crème brûlée at the tasting, and I think it's really working well with for daiquiri.
Yeah.
So you're going to try, but I think it's working well. And then we have the divergence. So the other one. So the number one. This is grog and Port Mourant. So the Port Mourant is from Guyana. This is a double pot still, and you have some parts in woods. So this is one of the oldest still in Guyana. This is also 55 degrees. And yeah, so this is the same process. We put it in amphora, and then we make the blend in some steel cask. And so yeah, this is the same than for the other one. You get a lot of different flavors, but without the alcohol. So yeah, two different profile, but two very expressive rum. And I think they are working well for the cake. You taste it, Chris? I
Yes,
think you
yes,
agree with
yes.
me.
Esteban, thank you very much. Thank you very much. We have to go to the next
All
session.
right. All right.
So
Fine.
sorry about that. We have really, really. I want, I love to talk with you, but that this evening is about, the whole world here.
Of course.
We have some different places here. So yeah, thank you very much. Do you want to say something for the end?
No, I think everything is okay. I wish you all the best. Enjoy your tasting and enjoy your everything. Enjoy your daiquiri. And that's it. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Esteban.
Okay.
We'll
Thank
be
you
in
so
touch
much,
because of
Chris.
our masterclass. Yeah. So
Yeah.
you did a very, very good job, and thank you for that because from the very first time when I saw it last year, without labels yet, I think,
Yeah.
or something
Yeah.
like that. And I really, really knew that time that, oh, okay, we need to use it. So yeah, thank you very much. You did a good job.
Perfect.
And thank you for
Thank
coming.
you.
And we have to go to the Florent. Florent, thank you for coming.
Merci,
I know how
Esteban.
busy you
Hi,
are.
everybody.
Merci, Florent.
So we'll keep it until 8:29 for myself, 10 minutes to run. Great to see so many people from the rum industry. As Esteban said, thank you so much, Christophe, for organizing this. We've done a masterclass already together. That was pretty interesting to see a great rum community in Poland. So excited to visit the market soon, hopefully. And I'm seeing some good friends that we see usually around some rum shows, having dinners together. Philippe, salut Philippe. But anyway, so I'm here to talk a bit about myself, the company, Compagnie des Indes. So basically, that's a rum brand which I created something like a bit more than 10 years ago. We are within the 10 years anniversary as of January next year. So the idea basically is to introduce people to honest. Nowadays, it sounds more logical, but when I started 10 years ago, people were drinking a lot of sugary rums, rum with a lot of coloring, vanilla flavors, and all those things. And I wanted to re-educate the palate of consumer towards driving honest rums, something which we call rums of terroir. Terroir, which is a French name we use a lot in my region in Burgundy because I'm at the beginning from the wine business. So when we talk terroir, wine is very much related to terroir. And I wanted people to see and understand the difference that could be with different rums from all over the world. And as Esteban said, I think the rum business is very interesting because of that diversity, the fact that from all over the world, you can get rums with a lot of different character. So that's something that I managed, I hope, to put within bottles. Since I started the brand, I have 7 blends, which I can reproduce every year. On those blends, you have a white rum, which is actually pretty good for cocktails. It was requested by a Swedish bartender for myself and Italian bartenders. So I came up with this blend of 3 different molasses rum from different parts of the world. Finally, a touch of Batavia Arak, which really brings something pretty unique to the blend and that give a kick when you mix it in a cocktail. So that's tricorn. There is a spiced rum with real spices infused in rum and not just flavors and artificial flavorings. We have Caraïbe, a blend, a very easygoing blend, Latino 5-year-old with mostly rums from Guatemala, 5-year-old, no coloring, nothing. 2 rums from Jamaica, 1 bottle at 43% ABV, 1 bottle at 57 ABV as a navy strength, no sugar. And this, which is a blend of 8-year-old rums, a kind of a merger in between Spanish style rums and British style rums, very round with nice licoricey notes, but with no sugar also. So that's part of the blends, which I can produce every year. And then since 2015, I have bottled more than 500 single cask, I think. I have a collector, some collectors, which have almost all of them. Even myself, I don't have all of them, because I'm in the rum business to sell bottles, not to drink all my barrels, thankfully. So yeah, so a lot of different origin, and one of my point is always to help people to discover and to be the first one to bottle a new distillery, a new country, a new style of rum. So I think I was the first ones from Indonesia as Batavia Arak 10-year-old, rums from Cuba, Sancti Spiritus. I wasn't the first. Australia as an independent bottler, I think I was one of the first. A lot of crazy cool things, Brazil, Thailand, things like this anyway. So, and also 10 Cane, which I was the first bottler to bottle, because I knew the story with the guys from the US when I worked for a brand of rum in the US. So I was in touch with the guys of 10 Cane, and I knew that the distillery had closed. And I get in touch with the old what's the name? The old director of the company from LVMH. But anyway, so yeah, that's the story. Honest rums, no coloring, no flavoring, none of this. We do have an added value. Most of the producers here, I've seen either our producer, distilleries, or independent bottlers like me. And I know that most of them have their own warehouses. So we all have an added value on the product that we age, compared to some distributors which just create a brand with a nice label, but they just get people to receive barrels, put the rum in the barrel. They don't age the barrel, they don't touch it, they don't do their dilution, their bottling. So there's no added value. Whereas I have an added value. We have our own stocks. We age our same thing than Family Ricci, of course, and others. We have our own stock. I age my barrel. I choose the barrel I will put the rum in, and try to be as honest and transparent as possible. Then, in order to keep on the timing, talking more about the Great Whites. So those are a range which I released in 2022, a range of 3 different white rums. My idea was to showcase impressive, flavorful, powerful white rums from the world. There will be several more releases in the future. So first release was 3 different origins, 1 rum from Vietnam, 1 rum from Ghana, and 1 rum from Jamaica, the one that is part of the competition tonight. To give you more insight about the other ones, so Ghana, pretty interesting, also something, an origin that not many people knew about. Pot still rum, cane juice rum, pretty interesting and fun. Vietnam, from a French family, Mr. Poircuit, which has a funny name because his ancestors were distilling pear. So Poircuit means cooked pear. And the guy is still distilling in Vietnam nowadays with local sugarcane in Creole copper, which same thing. I think I was one of the first one to bottle an all new Yarmouth, 12-year-old for the Danish market, which was foolproof and pretty impressive at the time. It became a collectible. And so I thought that would be interesting to showcase a white New Yarmouth so that people could understand what it is. So if you are not familiar with Jamaican rums, New Yarmouth is a distillery by Appleton, sorry, pardon me. So by the Campari Group, and these are rums which are used in some of the blends of Jamaican Appleton to give a kick to the regular brand, to regular SKUs of the brand. And this is a distillery that not many people have seen. They don't want people to visit it because, of course, to make such. Or can you hear me? Okay. Can you hear me? Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay, thank you. Sorry, it said my connection was weak. So where was I? Yes, so it's a distillery that not many people can visit because, of course, it has to be dirty to make such flavorful rums. Fermentation is pretty long, but not only fermentation is long, afterwards they leave it as a maceration when it creates bacteria, and that the fact that you have a fermentation of minimum 12 days up to 3 weeks, and you have the must which stays like this with an open vat for more than several weeks. You create bacteria, and once you distill it, it creates something very powerful, and that's what you have. It's a rum with 3 years in stainless steel tanks, made it more round, smoother, softer. Bottled at 50% ABV. You will see it has a lot of fruity flavors, spiciness when you drink it, a touch of licorice in the mouth, a lot of pepper, olive esters for sure. And it gives a nice acidic flavor like balsamic vinegar, a touch of balsamic vinegar in the finish. And the kick of interesting, it's distilled out of the still at 82% ABV. We diluted it pretty slowly in order to bottle it at 50% ABV and have something smooth, powerful, which works very well in a daiquiri. I made a competition myself with my 3 different great whites. New Yarmouth is my favorite, but I have to say it is a pretty kick-ass daiquiri. So it's one of the most powerful kick-ass daiquiri we'll have. Thank you so much for your time. I'm in the time frame. Good luck for the other ones, and good luck for the daiquiri, the competition. Thank you, Christophe.
Thank you, Florent. Thank you very much. Thank you. And we see each other next year. Yeah, and there's Ramfest, Paris. Yeah, you will be there. Like always. Thank you very much. Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you. So we are going to the next producer, which is Robert. Yes, this is your turn now. Robert Polo from Czech Republic, from Prague.
Good evening, everybody. Guan. I'd like to say hello to everybody I was with last week. Florent, I just want to say one thing, because I've been in New Yarmouth and just about nobody gets in, as you said. But despite the fact that there's rumors about open fermentation, there really isn't any open wild fermentation going on. The reason why they don't let people in is, well, at least it's rumored that it's because they also distill other alcohols there that are sold on the island. And because of that, they want to maintain the purity of brand and not let people know that there's vodkas being made there, that there's gins being made there. So J. Ray and nephew, who run the distillery, have at least 6 different white overproofs that they make. And the Winston Kennedy, which I know you have, along with the HM, I don't think that you have, but we have as well. Those are definitely the highest ester rums that come out of there, but none of that shows up in any Appleton distillation. The Appleton distillations are pretty much everything comes straight directly from St. Elizabeth. I know that because
it goes towards Ren nephew bottling, which they are consuming on the island, right?
Yeah, but not the Appleton bottlings though. It has the Appleton brand is autonomous from that. The J. Ray stuff, sure, it goes into that absolutely, but not the WK or the HM. Anyway, I just wanted to clarify that one point, and you and I should meet because we have similar interests and similar tastes, and hopefully we'll get an opportunity to do that. But now I have promised Bintu Singh that I will manage to do my presentation in 7.5 minutes. So here we go. Good evening, everybody. I'd like to say hello again to those of you who were with us last week. I want to go ahead and see if I can do this without crashing my computer or maybe putting something up on the screen that doesn't belong. Oh, look at that. It does work. Son of a gun. Hi, Robert Polo, Warehouse Number 1, Overproof Rums. How did it all start? Pretty simple. Went to Jamaica in 2019, was completely gobsmacked visiting all of the different distilleries and in the different ways that they distilled the spirits and the similarities as well. Going from Worthy Park to Long Pond to the Hampden Estate, down to Appleton, and yes, to New Yarmouth, and also down to Clarendon. But today, what we're here to talk about are 2 of our more high ester rums that we have. By the way, 11 different overproof white rums are available from Warehouse 1. Right now, we don't have an importer in Poland. That should soon change. You can find us in Germany. You can find us in Belgium, in France as well, very, very soon, and Italy, Switzerland, etc., etc. Oh, wow. Okay, so as I was saying, we have 11 different white overproofs, and today we're going to be talking about the overproofs that come from you know what? I can't get my next slide to show. How are we going to do that? Let's see. My PowerPoint. Oh, this is going to be a drag. Bintu, I don't. There we go. Sorry about that. I'm an old man. I'm very naive to this stuff. Here we are at the Hampden Great House. My, 1753. I had the good fortune a couple of years back of being one of the few people who stayed as a guest of Ruth Hussey, along with Andrew and Christelle and Matthew. We had a wonderful time there. And the two rums we're going to talk about today are two of the higher ester range from the Hampden Estate. We're talking about, we're going to be talking about the HDML and the C Diamond H. The magic moments that happen at the Hampden Estate in first light of the Queen of Spain Valley until well past midnight. You can hear those stills just grinding away. Oh, there's four. Wait, how many now? There's 6 of them now. The intensity of the fragrance as it seeps out from the distillery room floor is just absolutely amazing. And there's a quick story. This is how these rums. It's the genesis of 2 of these rums. While I was visiting Trelawney in 2022, we had sampled a bunch of stuff in Long Pond. We had gone over and visited at the Hampden Estate and Wakefield rather, and we decided, we haven't had enough to drink, so we went into town. We had a few drinks, a few more overproofs and ting, and push came to shove. I had to use the bathroom. I get into the bathroom and I look, and there's this sign that says Trelawney Explosion. I thought to myself, you know what? That would make a great name for a rum bottling, and that's what happened. Call it serendipity. Sometimes you find inspiration in the wildest of places. The fantastic flavors and the rhythms of Jamaica, the food, the drink, the music, the dance, the colors. That's what we wanted to capture with this Trelawney Explosion triptych. 3 intense high ester marks that really capture the wild side of Jamaica. So let's start with the HGML, which is an intense rum. Yeah, the raw materials: medium molasses, high cane juice, vinegar, medium addition of dunder and muck. Fermentation, 15 days total. I believe it's split pretty much evenly between alcoholic and acidic. And when you open these on the nose, you get those wonderful cantaloupe notes, as well as the acetone and industrial notes, soap and mint leaves. I unfortunately don't have a bottle of the HDML, but what I do have, I can't see it. There it is. I do have a little bit of DOK, so I will join you with that because it too has those wonderful industrial notes. On the palate, it's all pineapple. Yeah, the esters, it's an ester bomb. And in the finish, what I like about the finish is not only do you get the solvents, but in the back you get the cardamom and blackberries and some pollens and something that I like to call dusty roads. The C Diamond H. The C Diamond H is a fantastic rum for daiquiri because the intensity of it, of the aromas, it'll punch right through the lime juice and create a very interesting. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
It's just a hiccup. Oh, you're getting excited there. Okay, come on. I'm on a clock here. Bintu's timing me. So a little bit longer fermentation than the HGML. The C Diamond H, it's about 20 days. And I think thanks to that, Bintu has just told me it's 5 minutes. I'm getting nervous. The palate of this, I find it a bit more fruity, with the ripe banana and tangerines. And even in the finish, it's a little bit more fruity. So maybe for some people, they would prefer this over the HGML for daiquiri. But for me, it's the HGML. And truth be told, if I had my druthers, I would make all of my daiquiris personally out of DOK. But I don't want to shoot myself in the foot. These are absolutely fantastic rums. Yeah, and as the box says, warning, extreme Trelawney flavors. And that's what they are. They certainly are extreme. The Diamond H we had in our tasting last week, it is the staple of the Hampden Estate. And I know that Daniele Biondi is coming up after me, so I'm not going to talk too much in depth because he's the professor. And I don't want to talk out of turn and end up having to eat my muck and dunder because of it. Yeah, so I want to thank you all. I want to thank Chris especially for everything he's done. I want to thank the Polish community because our previous entries, you loved them very much. Our WPCGN last year came in second place. Not sure what happened with my old John Crow, but that's what I'm drinking here this evening. So I want you to enjoy all of these rums in good health. They're pure Jamaican rums. We'll be bringing them to you for a long time to come. We have at least 11 different marks aging. We have a tremendous amount of barrels. I won't tell you exactly how many, that's proprietary, but I will tell you this. We have recently completed a purchase, and we will be bringing 2 rums to market from Jamaica that have never been off the island. We will be the first company to bring you those. So that's just a little bit of tease. And Bintu's telling me I got to go. So I want to let you know that warehouse number 1 overproof rum, Trelawney Explosions, all that, the intensity of the flavor. And we're ready to bring it all to you. In fact, next year, Chris, for the contest next year, we're breaking out the big guys. Yeah. We're breaking out the legendary marks.
Yes.
We have an aging stuff. We have DOK that was 2 years old, Tekka 2 years old, everything in Virgin Oak, the WPE that recently came out. Next year, count on 3-year-old versions of all of these. And think about that intense flavor plus the added extraction of all the vanilla notes and woody notes from the Virgin Oak and putting that in with some lime juice and some sugar. Yeah. So to all of you from me, wagwan, respect, and I hope that you enjoy our rums. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I remember about 3 years ago when we did the first online tasting with Hyester rums, and I asked Daniele Biondi to tell us something about Hyester, about, we did a big professor presentation. And when he realized that the next rum we will drink is a DOK aged in Caroni cask, he did a cross sign for us and quit the session. Do you remember, Daniela?
All right. Again, thank you all very much. I've got to run. I got some kids out here I need to cook dinner for, so I'm going to finish my drink. Congratulations to everybody who's made it this far. Bintu, I hope that was short enough for you, buddy. See you soon. Good night, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye, Robert. We'll be in touch. Thanks. Bye-bye. Daniele Biondi. Hello, my friend. I can hear you. You have to unmute.
Daniele, your mic is off.
Okay, sorry.
Yes.
Good.
Yes, now it's good.
Okay. No, I was saying that I think I will do like this, for the next years. If you keep doing. No. Again, thanks for inviting. It was a pleasure to listen the guys before me, and I will keep listening because always interesting to learn other voices now, which is something it doesn't happen often, honestly, to me, because in all these events I'm always busy or maybe doing masterclass myself. So not often I can listen other players, let's say, other rum players, and it's cool. And then bravo, you did again this contest. Last year was a surprise. Now you are consolidating. If you keep going, become a tradition. So
yeah, I hope. Yes, I hope.
Exactly.
But yes. Lot of work, but I love it really.
And also I love you. As we said last year, I love you do, and you give a lot of spotlight, on the unaged rums, on the white rums. That is really a sort of category in the category of rum, which is a paradox. It should not be like this, but actually it is, because it's a very different kind of consumption, different market, different marketing behind, and a lot of communication to do. Because, I don't say anything new, but actually the 99% of the interest has always been on the aged rums in Europe. Okay, let's say in Europe. And so, speaking about the unaged rums is really, first of all, is a Caribbean approach, because as we always say in the Caribbean, people drink unaged rums. They don't care about aging. They age to ship to us. And again, talking about the unaged rums, you completely switch the focus on the raw material, on the fermentation, on the distillation. That is really what makes the spirit existing before the aging. So this is the very, very interesting. The Daiquiri is the la trinité, you know, of the the trinity of the drinks, because it's now the fact that the Daiquiri is so essential, you know, only with 3 ingredients, it makes it very difficult to do, first of all, because, you know, when you have a lot of ingredients, I am still a bartender, I'm still alive, but it's quite a while I don't do it. But, you know, it's not easy to make a martini with 2 ingredients. It's not easy to make a daiquiri with 3 ingredients. When you have a very few ingredients, you know, finding the balance is very, very difficult. And especially now that, you know, thanks to what all the guys you invited are doing, what you are doing, we have availability of many different white rums. And this is exactly the point. You know, I remember last year, Chris, when we were in the same event, and I mean, I spoke about all my last 20 years in the rum and the evolution, my evolution personally, and was an evolution of the Daiquiri, okay? Because, you know, in early 2000 was like a frozen Daiquiri, maybe with the flavor of strawberry Daiquiri, you know, those kind of stuff. And then, you know, the mixology evolved and the attention on the interesting point evolved, which is the rum. Okay, the balance of lime and sugar, obviously, but the rum. And at the moment, I think that this process is really mature in a niche, obviously. It's not like for everyone what we are sharing today, but in our niche, I mean, finally, we managed to, again, to switch the value from the aging to really the unaged spirit and to the diversity of the unaged spirit. So at the beginning, you know, Daiquiri has always been considered the Cuban stuff. Okay, so Daiquiri is a village. I don't know if you know, but Daiquiri is a village in Cuba where actually the legend, you know, says that the Daiquiri has been discovered, you know, has been done first time, which is only a legend, obviously, because mixing lime and sugar and rum happens from centuries and happens naturally, you know, not really for the mixology. But it's also true that, you know, the Americans in Cuba were great too, and the Spanish before were great too, to create a myth, and actually the lime and sugar and rum became a daiquiri, you know, and became a Cuban stuff, which is not, I mean, is a good name for this tradition, but it's also true that we all mix lime and sugar or lemon and sugar, let's say, and any citrus and any sweet with all the spirits we can have. I mean, it's not different than a tea punch, it's not different than a caipirinha, it's a little bit different than a margarita and a vodka sour and a gin gimlet, you know. So at the end, mixing the citrus and the sweet, it's a base for the balance of any kind of you know, refreshing drink, you know. Then you can be in the Caribbean or you can be in London or wherever you are, you use the spirit you have, you know. So from our side, I mean, I don't do a presentation because I assume you guys know, but at the end, La Maison and Vellier, or let's say Vellier, going back before La Maison and Vellier was existing, I also started with the Latin rums, you know, but then the evolution to the agricole and trying to make daiquiri with an agricole. No, it's a tea punch. Yeah, whatever you call it is like mixing good stuff. One can be shaken, one can be just a pill, one can be 1 drop of sugar syrup, one can be smashed, one is not smashed, you know. So it's a matter of technique, and it's a matter of the spirit you use, and you change the name, but at the end of the day is is the essential version of the expression of the raw material. Okay, in Italy, you know maybe Angelo, which is my brother in Daiquiri, and Angelo loves to say that Daiquiri is like a pasta al pomodoro, you know, pasta, tomato sauce, and olive oil. So 3 ingredients, and the quality of the 3 ingredients is the key for the final Daiquiri, you know, for the final dish. So at the end, we started exploring, following this idea. We did a lot of work with agricole producers, you know, from Martinique and Guadeloupe a long time ago. And so why not daiquiris? We did the Clarin 2012, so 12 years ago now. And then the distillery of Providence in Haiti. Then we discovered many new white rums, let's say an age expression through the Habitation Vellière range. We started with Portmorant. You know, I don't know if you remember the very first range of Habitation 2015 was with a white Portmorant, no? That was like a revolution to think Portmorant unaged. And then we did the same work with the Worthy Park, with the Hampton, obviously, Long Pond, Foursquare. We did Habitation Paparuyo, we did Privateer, Takamaka, so going even very far from the Caribbean, because as Florent said and many others, it's cool to explore, you know, the sugarcane. And now what we have very hot, if you think white rums or you think possible daiquiris, is El Amparo, for example. Bravo, you have it. Ecuador. This is a super funky 60% oily, chewy daiquiri. They call it El Puro, you know, the kind of spirit they like. Clarin, you know, the definition in Ecuador, in many regions, is El Puro, that is not pure at all. And then, you know, I was talking about Vice very recently with the Colombian version of the ancestral sugarcane spirit, let's say. You spoke about Capo Verde recently, and you know, grog is the definition, but not only. And so very soon, this is top secret, but in a few weeks, we will launch a sugarcane spirit from Capo Verde, which is not really called grogge, because it's from another area in Capo Verde, and they have another name. And then we discover another area that they call it in another name. So we have a couple of surprises next year about Capo Verde. And then again, you know, the 8 marks of Hampton. And so why not making 8 different daiquiris with all the 8 different marks? And it's something that we have made in 2 or 3 events this year with Angelo. So there is no limit to how, no limit on how a daiquiri can evolve or how a daiquiri can become, you know. It's enough, it's so easy. It's enough to change the rum and you have the twist on the daiquiri. Is what I always tell to the bartenders that spend, you know, hours and hours on how to twist a cocktail, how to twist a recipe, how to twist a daiquiri, using the same spirits. And the answer is much easier. You know, you just change the rum and you have your twist.
Exactly.
Just, you know, play well with dilution. Very important for anybody that after this Zoom will make a daiquiri at home. That play with the dilution, because if you think like 50 ml, this is my suggestion for the night. If you think 50 ml of a 40% Cuban or a 40% Venezuela, 40% light rum. And then you have like El Amparo, which is 60, or a Rum Fire, a white overproof Jamaica, or whatever. Consider the dilution, because to have the same kind of strength, which is what we want, especially again, when I speak with the bartender, I tell them, don't make the daiquiri for you, okay? Don't make the daiquiri, because you can drink stuff like this, as we said before. I mean, but the normal people that it's not basically in this Zoom, I think nobody's normal here, but consider that for the normal people, let's say, you have to dilute. If you have a 60% rum instead of 40, please put much less, okay? It's very easy mathematics, okay? Instead of 50 ml, just put 32, 33, 35, or 30, okay? Who cares? You have an explosion of flavors, but you are still alive after one or two of these glasses. So what is interesting is the explosion of the flavor, okay? As we said before, the explosion of the flavor is not the explosion of the liver, let's say. What we want is really to understand through a daiquiri, to understand, the identity of this rum, but, maybe try another one. So play well with dilution, put much less of rum if you have something crazy in your hand. If you want to fill your glass, why not put water? I mean, the left centiliter, why not water? Who cares? It's not a blasphemy. Put some water in your cocktail and manage well all these rums, because this is the magic, okay? I close with something that was Luca invented that we said, Danny, we have in the catalog the new colors. And actually in the catalog of Valier some years ago, the pages of the white rums was a specific, part of the catalog. And the title was The New Colors, which means that are kind of new colors for the artist, the bartender, which is an artist now. He makes the painting, but actually we give them new colors to make a different painting. Because again, 90% of the rums we have, and again, thank you again, because you do these kind of events, but 95, I don't know, percent of the consumption of white rums in the world are like very few colors, okay, and very basically the same color.
Yeah.
And so again, what is our role is to give new colors, and then I mean it's very easy to play with these colors and to create new art, let's say. Okay, so this is a daiquiri for me.
Yeah, Daniela,
and that's it.
we have to do a different. I can see now that we have to do a different meeting about daiquiri. I love the idea to do the daiquiri on different marks of Jamaican rums. So probably most of people will like this. So we will, if we agree with that in the future, okay?
Let's do it.
But now we have to go. Sorry about that. We are late. We have to go to the next producer.
Thank you. Dziękuję.
Dziękuję. Daniela, thank you very much. Thank you. Appreciate that. And we will see. I asked you about Very Life 25. Will be or not?
Not, sir.
Not
we
sure.
do every 2 years, like
every 2 years. Okay.
The Nation League. Okay.
that's great news, because I don't have money for Italy this year.
No, every 2 years.
It's expensive. So thank you very much.
Ciao, Chris. Bye-bye.
We'll be in touch. Thank you. Bye-bye. Thanks. Guys, we are going to the next one at the end. What? And Etienne, who are you, Etienne? Etienne, hello, my friend. Uh,
Hello, Chris.
yes, Etienne is from Tahiti now. So,
Yes,
so I appreciate that you decided to join. And thank you for your great run. So let's start it and tell us something about your stuff.
yes, sure. Well, thank you, Chris, for inviting us and inviting French Polynesia in this worldwide conference and worldwide Daiquiri competition. It's very brand new for us to participate to such competition, and I'm glad to give a voice to the Polynesian rums as far as they are quite new on the rum planet. Manutea Tahiti is a 40-year-old distillery that used to start with fruits eau de vie, like pineapple, ginger, orange, and we start making agricole-style rum in 2015. So it's quite new in the history of the distillery. And why we start with making agricole-style rum is that sugarcane came in our islands 1,000 years ago with the very first Polynesian people that sails from Southeast Asia with their on their outrigger canoes. That's this story that we tell on the label. I don't know if you can see this, but we have here this traditional Polynesian canoe. And as far as the cross Papua New Guinea in their migration. They transport and they plant the sugar cane in our islands, and we keep this very old agricultural material, these very old sugarcane varieties here because Polynesian people use the sugarcane as a medicine, actually. So these very old sugarcane varieties just yes, grown in their gardens, and almost 10 years ago now, some of us started to replant these varieties and have the approach of a premium agricole style rum. So that's how Manutea Tahiti rums was created, like almost 10 years ago now. And you have made this choice of our quintessence, which is a very limited edition in Manutea. It's about 800 to 1,000 bottles per year, and it's a selection of our best distillation with a very, very slow reduction process. Just a little role about the rum making process in Manutea. The crop is manually, so it's hand harvest. The sugarcane are pressed just one time, just once in the mill, and we don't add any water. So we have a very fresh juice with very strong aromas, and we start making the fermentation process, which lasts about 3 to 5 days, and then we have a can wine, about 8 to 9% alcohol, and we run this wine in our German Holstein copper still. So we have a batch distillation process in a copper still, which gives some very green notes to the rum. We have some mint, some licorice, some anise. So it's very green, it's very clean, and it's interesting to have this palettes, these aromas, and it's very interesting because it's also different from what is done by our colleagues in Guadeloupe or Martinique. So we have an agricole style rum, but we have some different notes in it. So that is our approach, trying to make something different and give this Polynesian Polynesian note into the rum planet.
Yeah, sounds very good. Yeah, this is not my fault that your RAM is in the competition. Maybe because of the competition, but because of the final. This is because of all of these people. They choose your RAM, and
Sure.
it was in totally blind test, so they didn't know what they choose. So you just did a good job, and this is the point. Yeah.
Yes, and all the French Polynesian islands, because there's 118 islands in the whole French Polynesia. Now we can say that there's about almost 10 islands when we grow sugar canes. So we might have some different terroir from an island to another, because we have different archipelagos among French Polynesia. And what is interesting is with our colleagues here in French Polynesia, we're working on a indication géographique, which will protect our and very old ancient sugarcane varieties, that will give some very specific information to the consumers, to the bartenders, to everybody who will want to know more about French Polynesian rum. This will be very clear for everybody to see how we make our rum in Polynesia.
Nice, very nice. Okay. Do you want to say something more about maybe if you have some terroir, so do you have a plan to make different rums from different terroirs?
Well, that's a very good question. We will explore this, of course, because we will have some sugarcane from different islands. So we will compare them to see the impact of this terroir, and if we judge that this impact is strong enough to develop different labels, we will propose and we will launch this, and that will be very interesting for us, for the consumers, to make blind test tasting to compare those terroirs.
Super, perfect. Thank you very much. Do you have a plan to take a part of next year Ramfest Paris or not?
Yes, I will be there. So you will see me again. I will come with VTA. VTA here in our distillery is in charge of all the planning process. He has never been to France, actually, so that will be a first trip to France for him. And yes, we will represent our Manutea rums at the Rumfest.
Perfect. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Chris.
And I appreciate that. And we will see each other next year in Paris. Yes?
Yes, for sure.
Thank you. We are
Nana, bye.
Thank you very much. Bye. Thanks. Davey, where are you, my friend? Davey.
Hello, Gustav.
Davey, yeah, you're here. Did you
How are
sleep?
you?
Did you sleep?
No. Actually, we were with the rest of our team here in Guadeloupe, and it wasn't a good opportunity for them to try to learn about the industry and to meet some fellows. So basically, we are quietly and in the meeting room and listening some colleague talking about rum and daiquiris. So it's okay.
Yeah. Okay, Davey. Finally, we'll meet. Yeah.
Yes.
Here online, and tell us why your Papa Rio is in a great final of the Daiquiri competition. Why did you do that?
Basically, I will it's difficult to know why. Maybe it's because it's something about the product, and what you have to know is that it's funny. For me, that is funny because basically we weren't we don't we didn't expect that our product would be sweet that fast for for cocktail, and we didn't really work on this on this way, but finally with some importers and some some very sharp guys on the market, we try some things, and then we find that and with you also Christophe, we find that this rum, the Leuton, is really nice for cocktail and for daiquiri. So, but it's funny because in the first in the our first approach, we went to to try to make some cocktail with the rums, but this is it. We still we're very happy to yeah to give you this opportunity, this experience, and then yes, we're happy for that.
Okay, how did you do this rum?
Okay,
What is the secret?
well, okay, about the rum, it's very simple. I have a problem with my screen. Yeah, okay, yes. About the rum, first of all, I was trying to share my screen, but it didn't work. I will try again. It will be easier. Do you see my screen?
Almost. Yes, almost.
Yeah.
Yes.
You see it? Okay.
Yes.
So here we are in Guadeloupe. As you see, it's a part of the Caribbean, small islands of the Caribbean. Here we are in the center. And then if you want to understand how we make this rum, you need first of all to understand things about Guadeloupe. And what you need to know, it's our sugar canes are here in this region. It's a limestone based for the soil, and in this region we are producing, we are farming our sugarcane, and this region is particularly good for sugarcane because as you know, limestone, it's a special soil that don't that is really dry, and this dryness, it's a good thing for sugarcane. So this is why we have very concentrated sugarcane on sugar, and if we want to be more precise, we are based on this particular city. The name is Le Moule. You will see this here, and as you see, there is Atlantic Ocean just in front of us, and what is interesting, and you will have it on the test, is that we are really near to the sea, to the ocean, and we will have all the wind with the saltiness that will have an influence and an impact on our sugar canes. First, particularly on the sugarcane that we call the red sugarcane. It's a sugarcane type. It's a species. It's a species. And also on another sugarcane type, the name is the white sugarcane. The real name is B80, but not the white sugarcane. And this is what you need to know if you want to understand this product. You really need to understand Guadeloupe. And so basically, as you see, the city is Lemour. It's in front of the ocean, and then the sugarcane species are those two that I just talk about. And the last thing I will tell you is that the B80, the white sugarcane, will brought in the product lots of fruitiness, and it's there was something a little bit greasy on the palate, and this is why we choose this variety for 80% of the blend of this product, and the rest it's the red sugarcane, the Air 579, and this one will brought some spice, spice like pepper, etc. And overall you will have this saltiness brought by the ocean, and the wind. And so this is why this really delicate mix create some rum that we I need to tell you that we distillate in pot still, not we are. I know we are in Guadeloupe, and lots of people here are expecting us to use column still and Creole, colon Creole, but we are using pot still because we want to have something something a little bit different, but something flavorful. And this is it. You know why? If you take this rum and you make lots of love and the daiquiri you will made with it, I think you will have a good moment.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you very much, Davy. We have to go to the next producer. Okay. We will be in touch, I hope, and we will do our session next year. Okay. As we talk this year in France, I think, or somewhere else. I don't know. I don't remember. But yeah.
France, London. Yes, we met several times this year, but next year we will see. I hope. Yeah, I can't wait to yes.
Perfect. Davy, congratulations for your rum, and thank you very much. And please stay if you can, and we will see each other later. Yes, thank you.
Yes, I will stay for a moment. Thank you, Christophe. See you.
Next, Philip. Where are you, Philip?
Hello,
How the fuck did you do that? The
What
only one,
happened?
the
What
only one
happened, Chris?
cachaça, the only one cachaça here.
Beautiful,
You cheat
beautiful.
all of us.
Thank you so much, Chris, for getting cachaça onto the finals of the Daiquiri challenge, and it's much appreciated. So thank you for putting up all of this beautiful crowd together, and for sharing the love of sugarcane spirits in Poland and towards the world. So hello, good evening, everybody. My name is Philip Gillier. I am the export manager for a small number of independent and family-owned sugarcane spirits producer, of which Magnifica de Fara Cachaça, which we will be speaking about today. But I also look after European exports for a rum you might have heard of before, which is coming from Oaxaca, which is called Paranubes, which is also a pure cane juice rum coming from the mountains of the Sierra Mazateca, which I obviously invite you guys to try into your next daiquiris. Plus, we're going to be having some cool stuff coming over onto the market very soon in Europe. So more variants to play with, single varietals, which I'm sure you will all love. And also, I look after European exports for a family-owned Venezuelan rum company, which is called Ron Carúpano, and which is basically the birthplace of Venezuelan rum. So that being said, I have behind me a little bit of a big passion about pure cane juice rums, as this is the way I've made my way to living the dream. Really, I had a passion for rum. I had a passion for traveling. I very much loved and fell in love with the Caribbean and Latin American culture. So, finishing up my studies, I basically decided to knock at the door of some producers and working on my master's degree thesis to see, hey guys, what are the opportunities and strategies for the French rum producers on export market. And that is how I opened up a door working for a company you might have heard of before, which is called Spiribam, which produces rums from Martinique, Rum JM, and Rum Clément, which back in the days were kind of the first guys really going outside into the European market and in the US, sharing, let's say, a little bit of a culture of pure cane juice rums, which, back 10 years ago, that was not on any kind of shelves unless you were in the French Caribbean or in Metropole France, continental France. So that was a little bit of a way for me to understand even more into deep the culture from coming from the French Caribbean. That company then acquired some companies in St. Lucia, or one distillery in St. Lucia, the only distillery called St. Lucia Distillers, and I was also overlooking European export for that company, and fell even more in love with the Caribbean lifestyle and the heritage of rum and what actually it can bring to the table for some places into the world, which can really benefit from it. So about 5 years ago, I decided to step out of the world of the corporation to work as a export consultant with independent family-owned rum companies, small players, but that have a big potential into gaining a little bit of a market share onto the European market, and basically making sure that the companies I work with are actually companies that make a real change locally, whether it be for recognizing their very strong cultural heritage, whether it be on the social perspective, in the people working for the company, but also and foremost a economy impact that representing real local brands coming from Brazil, coming from Venezuela, from Mexico, from wherever, actually really have a little bit of a space to hold onto the European market. So that's a little bit of my way into living my dream today, and saying that we're doing a little bit of a better world selling rum, and enjoying rum with good people. So this is what I do, and today we'll be speaking about the cachaça, which has so much to bring onto the table of sugarcane spirits. This is one thing that I'm always trying to refocus the discussion on, is leaving the word rum besides for as much as possible, because the education now is very much on the same basis of what agave category is doing, is trying to step out of the tequila world or mezcal world and making sure that people understand the agave, the raw material. So as Daniele was mentioning earlier, when we speak of our favorite spirit, we're actually speaking of a raw material, which is the sugarcane. And sugarcane distillates have so many words linked to very local culture, very local heritage, histories, that makes reasons why we do not speak about rum in Brazil, but we speak about cachaça. We speak of vice in the northern Caribbean side of Colombia. We speak of grog in Cabo Verde. We speak of aguardiente de caña in Oaxaca. We speak of clairin in Haiti. And all of these spirits have a very specific reason why we do not call them rum. We do not call them ron or rhum agricole because it's pure cane juice, but we call them a very specific name. And this is very much what we try to do even more with cachaça, which has a very big, let's say, chance. That is, a lot of people know that cachaça, or what cachaça is somehow. It is a spirit coming from Brazil, so which is something that is not true for vice or grog or clairin for most of consumers. But we do know that speaking of cachaça, we are actually speaking of Brazil. Thanks to a very strong drink strategy, which is called the caipirinha. Everybody has heard about the caipirinha. So I really very much love how Daniele spoke about the holy trinity of the rum, lime, and sugar. So the holy trinity of the rum, lime, sugar in Brazil is the caipirinha, a beautiful drink when made well and with good ingredients, obviously. But the downside of the caipirinha strategy is that all over in export markets, including Brazil, actually people started to have a bad idea about cachaça because of bad quality caipirinhas. But this is, thank God, something that is changing and that is leaving space for growth and for better education and better caipirinhas, not only, but better cachaça drinks onto the European market. And this is when we step in with Magnifica, making our way now towards the Daiquiri finals, because you can use cachaça into a Daiquiri, you can use cachaça into any kind of other classic cocktails where you will be using a cane spirit. And when we're speaking of Magnifica, we're actually speaking of a very specific player within the world of cachaça. So you need to know that about a year ago, there is a new appellation in Brazil, which is also helping cachaça and Brazilian cane spirits to grow outside and to regain a little bit of a reputation. Is that new appellation is actually differentiating cachaça, column still cachaça, the cachaça that everybody has been drinking up until now, versus pot still cachaça, and the new appellation standing for pasta cachaça that is called cachaça de alambique. Cachaça de alambique defines cane spirits that is distilled from pure cane juice in Brazil, distilled between 38 and 48% alcohol, and specifically in a pot still. So this is a big game changer because we are now able to differentiate an industrial production which is quite tasteless versus traditional, authentic sugarcane spirits, cachaça de alambique, which is a lot more zestier, a lot more fresher, and that has all of the beautiful notes that you are able to taste right now, neat or into a daiquiri. So speaking of Magnifica, there's a big thing about Magnifica you need to know is that it is actually the first double retort pot still that was implemented in Brazil by Jean-Louis de Faia in 1985. So in 1985, we get Jean-Louis de Faia, a big lover of the European Scotch whiskies, and who said we need to highlight pasta production in Brazil. You need to know that Brazil is the first producer of sugarcanes. It's probably producing about half of the sugarcane spirits in the world. And then when we're speaking of rum, excluding Brazil, we're actually losing a big part of the fun. And imagine Brazil, a huge, huge country in which there are thousands of pot still and cachaça producers, artisanal pot still cachaça producers, and that within that, there are so many other rules regarding aging that is also implementing a whole bunch of different flavors onto the table, using woods that we've never heard of before because they're using woods coming from the Amazon, nothing less than the biggest forest on earth. So this is also something about cachaça that is still very much unexplored and that we definitely have a lot more space to come and discover. So a quick note regarding the production before I run out of time is going to be that double distillation, which is absolutely key in the sense of the flavors that you're able to get out of the bica de alambique that you get right here in your daiquiri. First pot still is a preheating pot, 2,500 liters. Second pot is the main distillation. And third pot, we're actually redistilling heads and tails of the main distillation and re-ejecting into the second pot still, which will be blended with next day's distillation. So this is actually going to have two main objectives. First objective is to get a more efficient production run, meaning that we're able to extract more spirits out of 2,500 liters of fermented juice, but also, and specifically, we're actually extracting a lot more flavors and aromas from the heads and tails second distillation blended into the main distillation, right? So the distillate we come out is about 50% alcohol, and bica de alambique that you have now is reduced very slightly to 48% because we want to keep it within the appellation of cachaça de alambique, which states that it must be bottled at a maximum of 48% alcohol. There's 1,000 more things to tell you about Cachaça d'Alambique and Magnifica de Faria Cachaça. But hopefully we'll get the chance to meet up again and speak more about caipirinhas and cachaça and daiquiris and how can we use cachaça in other drinks than the caipirinha, starting with the daiquiri, but also the rabo de galo, which I invite you to take a look at onto the internet and try that at home. It is a beautiful drink that you will most likely love. And thank you so much, Chris, for again making cachaça great again. Yes, Chris, my guy.
This is crazy because I remember when we talked this year on April or May, I don't remember, and I showed you the list of rams to this year competition, daiquiri competition. You asked me about cachaça. I remember I told you no, there's no place for cachaça. You told me why not? Because this is not a ram. And I asked an importer. No, you are importer. I don't remember now to send me a sample. And when I open it, it was crazy thing for me. It was really, really unexpected. I tried many cachaças before, and this is the first I really, really loved. Really. So
Appreciate it, Chris. And yeah, please don't say our guest that I twisted your arm at the Rum Fest for you to get the cachaça into the list. Appreciate it.
yeah, yeah. And but you have to know that there's one little or big, it depends, problem with the bottle because the cork is crushed in the first moment when you open it. So you have to finish all the bottle in one time.
Exactly.
This is super
That is our
crazy.
number one technique for selling cachaça onto the European market. You cannot close a bottle once you've opened it.
Exactly. Philippe, thank you very much. I appreciate that, and we will see each other later this year or next year.
Very soon.
Congratulations for you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Obrigado. Obrigado.
Obrigado. We are moving to Australia now. And let me turn off, Philip, your sharing, if you can, your screen. Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. We are moving to Australia. We have Ben now and Sam. I can see Sam and Justin from That Reckoning Independent Bottler. So we have three guys from two different time zones. Yeah, if I remember good.
It's not a very big time zone. It's only half an hour. So
Half an hour, but 2,000 kilometers or free.
yeah, it takes about 8 hours to get there. So thank you so much for having us. It's well, I mean, I tell you what, when we got that email saying that we were part of this final list of in the Daiquiri competition, I think yeah, Ben and Cal and myself were extremely proud to be part of, ended up against some incredible products. So thank you for the opportunity. It's been excellent to not only work with Justin, but create probably the most unique rum out here in Australia in the most different area than people would expect. There's no sugar cane near us. We have to purchase our molasses from Queensland, which is again another 5,000 kilometers away. So it does take a long time to get here, but we've really decided to go down the funky high ester route, which has been, it's just been really challenging from a domestic point of view, but from the international point of view, people are really appreciating the fact that there's now another option of high ester rum somewhere out of the Jamaican islands. So Ben's the person who looks like me. Sometimes we call each other our stunt double. So if he wants to go to a meeting he doesn't want to go to, I step in and vice versa. But he's one of the owners and co-founders / directors of the business. So I thought I would introduce Killick as the brand because I take care of the wholesale side of the business, and then pass on to Ben and he can talk you through the distillate techniques and all the sciencey stuff that I don't really have a mind for. I just like drinking the rum and talking to people, right? So I guess Killick Rum is we've probably only been in operation for about 4 years now. Ben has had a substantial exploration with different spirits over his journey, but we actually converted a brewery into a distillery. So Ben was doing a lot of like lambic and sour beers, and then decided to use a similar technique in the rum. Our muck pits are now about 4.5 to 5 years old, so they're starting to really give off some really unique flavors. And we are just, I guess, our goal is what we set out to be was someone to try this rum and go, you know what, we love that. Like that is really interesting and really delicate product, and not jump from the roofs and say, hey, you got to come try us. We wanted people to come and explore and find this product themselves. So Christoph, you've really helped that. So, and Justin too. So thank you so much.
No, again, it's not my fault. You just did a good job. And remember that we have tonight, two products to your product. First time I saw your product was because of Justin Bosley, because of this guy, because I first time saw his Fiji, 20 years old or something like that, single cask. And after that, I started to look at this bottling, and this was first time when I tried this stuff. And about half year later, I tried your Kilik from SBS. So so we have two different things here and different products. So
Yeah.
no, this is not my fault. You did that.
No, I guess it's nice to really put our best foot forward and head over to the European market. As much as I would love to be standing there next to you at the rum shows like everyone else is, but it's it's quite a substantial way. But we've really enjoyed the partners we've worked with, and really looking forward to building this brand into something something of worth. And if we can be mentioned in the same conversation as Worthy Park or Hampton Estate, we'd be incredibly proud to be there. I'll just share my screen. I'll show you. Davey gave me a good idea to actually show you where Belgrave is.
Before you share your screen, there is a question on the chat. Are there any different marks from Kilik?
Yes. So it's KLK is our mark. So that's a really good indication of where you can find. Can everyone see my screen? So we've got Australia here, if you didn't know where Australia was. But where I'm putting my mouse now in Victoria, that's Belgrave. Well, there's Melbourne here, and Belgrave is a little bit east of the suburbs. It's in the mountain regions. So we source all of our Queensland sugar from up here in the Sunshine Coast near Brisbane. And this is where Justin ages his. So the difference between the climates are Queensland is hot, sunny, rainy, and humid. Adelaide can be very dry, cold nights, hot days, and Melbourne is pretty much cold most of the year round, apart from about 3 months of the year. So if you had, say, barrels in each different state, you would actually get some really different characters from each. So, it's been it's a bit challenging because Melbourne is not known as a rum state or rum capital of Australia. It's more Queensland because there's more distilleries up here. But I like the fact that we've actually created something that people can search out and go, where I found this rum distillery in the most weirdest place, but yet they're making really tasty rum and something a little bit different. So if you're interested, please explore. There's so many good producers out there, and we look forward to seeing so many other new Australian rums come on the market. And Justin is being the person that's allowing this to happen. So we couldn't have done it without him, and he knows how much we appreciate his efforts. So I guess maybe I'll pass over to Ben, and he can talk you a little bit about the product and the distillate techniques. But just thanks a lot.
Thanks, Sam. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Chris. Thanks for having us. Yeah, look, it's such an honor to be part of this final group amongst some amazing distilleries and rums. I guess look, a daiquiri competition when it comes to the sort of product that we're creating, like a super high ester white rum, is just like the perfect competition to be in. When we're developing this product, things like daiquiris and cocktails is like the sort of first and foremost where we thought these products were really going to shine. The esters in solution in the product themselves are hydrophobic. So essentially, as soon as you start making cocktails, any component that's water based, so fruit juices especially, the esters in solution react with the water in the different components. So the say like the lime juice and the daiquiri, and they just amplify. So those crazy fruits and funky characters that you're getting in the in the rum are just amplified even further in something like a daiquiri. So we always thought they're going to be like the perfect sort of use for a product like ours. Sam's just shared. I don't know if everyone can still see Sam's screen there. So that's a reasonably recent image of our still setup there. It's from a bit of a distance, so it's a little bit hard to make out all of it there. But there's on the far right a 2,000 litre boiler that can run across into the 1,000 litre as a retort tank, and then it comes across into. It's a modular system, so we can either run it through that 4-plate column or the 6-plate, or just go straight pot still, and it doesn't have to be run in retort either. So it can be run as a single, either 1,000 or 2,000 litre boiler in pot or column configuration. So we've got a lot of sort of choice and variability in our techniques depending on the sort of product we're looking to make at the end of the day. So going back to the question that came up before about marks, the KLK mark is our only one at the current time that you'll find on the international market. But domestically, we do have quite a range of products. We've got different aged products that have been in barrels for different, for varying lengths of time and different manufacturing techniques. So we've got barrels down that are just pot. We've got barrels down that are just column. We've got blends. There's been some great single cask release in things like bourbon casks and virgin oak. And then we've got some really interesting stuff coming up too with different finishing barrels coming and some different red wine casks that we've been aging in, things like that. So the thing about our product that's super unique is as Sam was saying before, our Muck and Dunder pits are sort of getting to that 5-year age now, and no one else in Australia really is touching on the highest muck pit driven rum as deeply as we are. It was always our sort of first sort of passion. We started out home distillers, my brother and my cousin and I, back when we were 18, so it was like 16 years ago. And we played around with a whole bunch of different spirits back in the day when we first started, from like corn whiskies, all grain whiskies, and then we found some molasses one day and thought, well, let's make some rum, and we just sort of fell in love with rum from that first distillation, that first fermentation and distillation. We'd already been playing around with home brewing beer as well, being big fans of sour beers. They weren't huge at the time, being such a long time ago in Australia. They were relatively unheard of, but we came across lambics that were these wildly fermented beers, and that's where we really just started exploring fermentation techniques. And essentially, once we came across some of the Jamaican high ester rums, we're like, wow, like this is like the lambic of the rum world, and this is something we need to explore. So we started playing around with fermentation of molasses and started researching as much as we could about Muck and Dunder in Jamaica and what they're doing over there. And we just over time just developed our product and our techniques. We opened as a brewery first about 9 years ago, and right back then we were still home distilling and distilling on a small scale. And as soon as we could, we transitioned back into distilling rum, and that was about sort of that 5-6 years ago when we started aging our Muck and Dunder pits. We have 6 different pits now that we can basically keep feeding and taking from, and just over the seasons they keep developing and changing and growing this living organism. And each time you use different blends of the Muck and Dunder, you come out with a product that it displays different ester profiles depending on the dunda you've used. So we can sort of choose our profile of the end product. It's not always possible to 100% know what you're going to get at the end of the day, being something that you are relying on these wild fermentations and the magic of distillation of ester producing bacteria and wild yeasts. But it gives us a fair idea of the sort of profiles we're going to get at the end of the day. So we've got this great range of high ester products now that we can either release as small batch release white rums, or we can put them in different barrels. And then again, first of all, you've got the magic of the fermentation and the ester production, and then after a few years' time, depending on the barrels that you've used, you've got the magic of oak, and it just they work hand in hand to make some really magical stuff. So it's been a fantastic journey so far. We're just always learning, and we keep pushing it to make wilder and funkier, more fun products. We like to get our hands dirty, so we get in there, we do everything from scratch by hand. I think Sam's taking his screenshot down now, but you can see the still image that he had up there. We actually built that ourselves. So my brother basically taught himself how to weld and how to solder copper and materials, and we started with a stainless tank, and we built the rest from there, from the ground up. So it's nice to have that sort of inside knowledge of your own still as well, and have everything modular and how you want it to be. And so it's a very unique, I guess, brand, and it's a unique manufacturing setup that we have, and it's led to a very unique product that we have, especially within Australia. And collaborating with people like Justin is just been a fantastic experience for us as well, helping us get our rum out to the world. There's no way that we could have had our products reach so many rum fans around the world if it wasn't for people like Justin and Steve McGarry's another great rum ambassador who's helped our rum get out there into the hands of people around the world. And it's thanks to those guys that the rum gets out to people like you guys, and it can be tried by people and appreciated. Really, that's all we set out to do, is to make a great, fun product that we love, and then hope that people out there could also try it and enjoy it with us, basically.
Yeah, you mentioned about Steve McGarry. I forgot about him, and I will probably will go together with him to Madeira next year. So we will see.
Fantastic.
And yeah, it's a very, very great guy.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much, Ben and Sam. Justin, do you want to add some words about your project? Because we had already a masterclass with you, and many people from here and from the internet saw our movie. So, but if you want, you can mention some words about your project.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, I'll keep it short. It's about an hour-long story, but I'll cram it into about 4 minutes. My rum journey started, I've always been into rum, so I've been drinking rum now for about nearly 40 years. Australia's got a very long etched out rum history. I used to drink a local product called Bundaberg rum, which at the time I thought was amazing, but to some people it still is. But it wasn't until I moved and lived in the Caribbean for 10 years I realised that it was of a slightly lesser quality. So I was fortunate enough to get myself a job on a couple of $100 million mega yacht and spend 10 years cruising around the world, taking Russian billionaires around on their private owned boats. So we'd spend summer in the Mediterranean, winter in the Caribbean. And like all good sailors, when you're not driving a boat or working, you're in a bar drinking rum. And that's probably a tradition that dates back 400 years, I would say, with anyone that's ever been on a boat. And at the time, I didn't know that. I call it my rum university. At the time, it was just fun. I just was drinking every rum I could see on every bar shelf. And then I started going to distilleries, and I started digging a lot deeper into the rum scene. And it was just at the time was just a hobby. I had no idea that it would turn into a job. So after 10 years of driving boats around the world, I decided it was time to come back to the real world and come back to Australia. And I was a bit dumbfounded as to what to do for a job. There was only two things that I was good at. One of them was driving a boat, and the other one was drinking rum. So I decided to turn drinking rum into a profession and started importing rums from all around the world and distributing them throughout Australia. So the rums that I was importing back then were other people's brands. And after about 9 or 10 years, I just got frustrated as to not having a say as to what was in the bottle. You know, it was always low ABV, it was always heavily dosed, it was always caramel or sugar. And I just got sick of the small amount of input or variation I could get out of a bottling. So I took matters into my own hands and decided to create my own rum brand. That was coming up to 5 years ago now. So Dead Reckoning was a bit of a spin on my yachting days. Dead Reckoning is a type of navigation that we used to use on the boat. And as I was brainstorming to come up with an idea to name my brand, it had to tie into my years of being at sea, and Dead Reckoning just sort of appeared in my brain like a light bulb moment. So that was the name of the brand. Now, since then, I think I'm up to about 16 or 17 different releases now over that 5-year period. It's a never-ending process. I've got 2 new releases here that I've been bottling in the last week. It's one of them's a 10-year-old 4-square PX cask. And I don't know what the most amount of rums that have been put into a blend before are, but this is a creation. I've won a contract with the Australian Army. So this has got 14 different rums in the blend at the moment, 14 different rums, and people think it's absolutely insane, but they all worked well with each other. This blend's got 14-year Barbados, 8-year-old Barbados, Jamaica EMB, 4 different types of privateer rum, Nicaragua, Guyana, Trinidad, Beanley, Mauritius, Vanuatu, and Martinique. It's absolutely insane. So never sit still, always think of what you're going to be doing next month, next year, or the next decade. And as we all know with rum, what you're thinking about and doing today is released in 5 years or 10 years' time. So always be on the front foot and thinking what you can do in the future. Working with Killick has always also been an amazing experience. I tasted it and saw that it was way, way ahead of the curve as far as what the Australian public was into in their rum, but I knew by just sipping it once and nosing it that the European and US market was absolutely begging for something like this. So I jumped at the opportunity to be able to work with the Killick guys. I think Australia is slowly coming around. Slowly is the word as to highest of funky rums. They're gaining a bigger step into the market, but like everything's education, I think over time, when the Australian public does, let's say, transfer or enjoy highest of funky rums, Killick will be well ahead of the pack. So it's interesting with the release that we brought out for Europe and the US. So there was a question from Charlotte asking, are there different marks or is it the same release? So each release for each customer is a different distillation, a different flavor profile, and completely unique to the next. So it's not just the same rum in a different bottle with a different label. Each one is 100% unique with a different profile. I've also got some Killick in barrels as well. So thinking many years ahead, I've got some super highest of funky stuff aging in Adelaide in South Australia. One quite unique thing about Adelaide and South Australia is the lowest recorded humidity in the world. So a lot of my bottlings, I write Australian dry aged. And the reason being is over aging, our ABV goes up tremendously. So what happens is the water molecules in the barrel evaporate faster than the alcohol. So essentially what happened is the flavor profile of the rum increases and your profits increase because you're left with, I think the highest I've had was a 9% increase in ABV over 18 months. That was a little bit of a crazy project. I aged it in my garden shed at home. So I had temperatures as hot as 59 degrees Celsius. in my shed, which is an insane. Yes, I had very high evaporation rates, but that was the whole purpose of that release. It was to see what I can achieve in a small amount of time in a garden shed that's painted black in the Australian sun. So yeah, very interesting method of aging. The rest of my rum, there's a question there, how long had it been at 59 degrees for? Well, each day is different. So I think that summer we had an outside normal temperature of 47 degrees. It was a record for South Australia. So the temperature goes up and down every day, which is what we need for rum aging. Might have been 59 degrees during the day, but it could have been down to 10 or 12 degrees at night. So that rapid increase and decrease daily of barrel temps and room temperatures, greatly increase the aging of a barrel. Most of my other barrels aren't in a tin shed. They're in a larger bonded store. Yes, you do get some extremely high temperatures there because it's just concrete walls and a steel roof. So I do get the same there, but not to the same degree as my tin shed garage at home. So yeah, very proud to be in amongst this list of amazing bottlings as well, and huge hands up to Christoph for the amount of work that goes in behind this, not only making 100 different daiquiris, but to pull something together like this and drag people from all around the world. I think everyone needs to put their hands together because huge amount of work. Thank you for making it happen.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. That's Justin. Thank you very much. Sam, and where you been? Ben, you're here. Guys, you do a great job. Don't stop. And maybe next year you will do something more unique, something especially to daiquiri. Who knows? We never know. Yeah. So guys, one more time. Thank you very much, and we have to go to the next producer.
Thanks for having us, Chris.
The list.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it.
On the list should be yes. Yes.
I was saying thank you very much for having us.
Thank you very much. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Thank you. Now on the list should be Joshua now, but he already sent me the picture that he's stuck on the highway in somewhere in Germany. So we have to go to the next presenter, which is his brother Bintu. Bintu, what did you did with your brother?
Oh, I had to trash his car, so he couldn't use it. So I got all the spotlight, so he's stuck, and here I am. So no. Now, thank you, Chris, for organizing all this. Thank you, Mr. President, as I also call you. No, but I think as a spirits geek, I started my journey back I think in my 20s. I was drinking a lot of peated whiskey, and then I went to a trade fair, and I was tasting different whiskeys, and someone tried to convince me into tasting a rum, and I didn't want to, but at the end of the day, I did try it, and I was hooked immediately. And from the very beginning, when I tasted rum the first time, I decided, that someday I wanted my own rum. And I did found, another famous Danish company back in 2018, 2008, which I was a part of until 2017. But I think when you start to import all these nice brands, and when you also become an independent bottler bottling other people's products, at some point you think it could be a lot of fun to try to create your own rum. But building a distillery, it's expensive. It's a lot of work. You need the right people. So I decided to hook up with a local distillery in Denmark that produces organic whiskeys. And I asked them if we could rent a part of their distillery to do some tests. And the idea was always to see if we could create a high potent, high ester Jamaican inspired rum, but then produced in the cold north here in Denmark. And what I did was that I worked together a lot with the sugar mill in Paraguay called Otisa, and the small distillery out there called Legado. And I bought some organic molasses from them. And then we did some testing in Denmark with different kinds of yeasts and different kinds of fermentation processes. And then we found out, I'm not a distilling guy. I know nothing about distilling. My old friend Santiago Bronchales, who used to be the master distiller for Aldea and also worked for, I think, some other distilleries in the Caribbean. He gave me a crash course on WhatsApp saying, you can do this and this and this, and then this and this and this. But just remember, I can't teach you 20 years of distilling on WhatsApp. And I said, no, but just give me the headlights and then I'll figure it out. And then, we just started the process, and there was always this rumor in the back of my mind about, the mock pits and the dunder that you add into the fermentation from the Jamaican stories. And so we made our own dunder. We made it, we added into the sun in big IBC's plastic tanks, and we let the sun do its magic with it. And then we added that into the fermentation processes. And I will still remember the day, because what we all want is these kind of pineapple, banana flavors. What we also called, what's it called? Ethyl acetate and isomyl acetate, which is these fruity banana-like flavors. And I remember when we were standing in the distillery, I was doing something else. And then my colleague came running into me and said, Binzo, you have to come into the distillery because it smells like banana cake. And then, we knew immediately, okay, I think we came up with something that, that might work. And that is what we call the skunk rum today. And I think we are up to batch number 8 when it comes to the skunk rum. And in every skunk, we did a different fermentation, or we used a different yeast. I think number 3 is the one we have in the competition with you, Chris. And for that fermentation process, we did the fermentation for 29 days. And we used a designer yeast, which was designed in Italy, actually for bread making. A yeast that bakeries use to get more herbal flavors into their bread when they bake the bread. And we wanted to see, maybe we can use it for fermentation. So let's see. So that is what skunk is all about. We also try to do some testing, and we push the limits. We even used a 118 years old sourdough for one of our fermentations also, just to see what happens and what happens with the flavors when you use something crazy like that. But batch number 3 was a really well-made distillation. I remember the guy who's in charge of the distillery. He's also a pharmacist, and he said that this was one of the most well-made products that he ever did, and so he was very pleased with it also. And the yeast give these herbal notes into the rum also, which I think is very, very nice. And I think it makes a killer daiquiri. So cheers, and thank you again, Chris. I didn't believe it, when I saw the list of rums, and products that that you were going to consider for this competition here. I thought, there's no way in hell, that we are going to be a part of that. So, yeah, I guess I'm a little bit humbled and honored to be in the top 10 here. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. I know from the very beginning when we met first time, when you started to tell me what was your first steps in with rum, with distilling, it was super interesting. So from the very beginning, I wish you all the best. And yeah, and don't stop, and don't
We
stop
won't.
trying. Where are you now? Don't stop trying, and let's see what what will happen.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Benito. Thank you.
Thank you.
And the next one, where is Julian? Julian, nice to see you again. Hello, hello.
Guillaume, in French.
Yeah, okay. Sorry. Sorry. We started to talk about online session 2 years ago, maybe. And yeah, this guy, you have to believe me, is in my imagination, one of the hardest working guy in the rum industry. So yeah, I appreciate that. And your Volcano Rock from Cabo Verde is in the final. So tell us something about your bottling, your project, and about Cabo Verde, maybe.
Yeah, and the rest. So I bottle mainly rums under my own name, so Ferroni, practically all over the world. So I work with as much country I can, and I do this since around 2011, and I started to specialize in the little islands on the Eastern African coast, so including the European one, so Madeira, Canaries, Cabo Verde, and Sao Tome. And when I discovered the Cabo Verde rum, it was probably 10 years ago. I started to work with Cabo Verde. The product was so unique and different as all the other rums that are made all around the world, that I decided to not to bottle them under my brand, but to create another brand. It's a brand for itself. I have all my rums under my brand Ferroni, and just the Cabo Verde under the name Vulcao. And it's very, very, for me, it's like forgotten world. It's like they were like dinosaurs. They make rum just the way we were making rum in the French Caribbean probably 300 years ago. So there's still mills with oxes running the mills. There is absolutely no pesticide, no fertilizer, no machinery at all. The only press they have is a very small Brazilian press. No fermentation. I mean, only natural fermentation. And there is a very specific way they distill. So they are very small pot still. They make the pot still on the island. So I work mainly in one island, which is Santantau, which is the highest island. So in Cabo Verde, there are 10 islands, and the main one for the rum making, so the one which has the more rain, so the more cane, it's Santantau, and they were making rum just for themselves. They practically never exported rum. They practically never made sugar, so it's just made of fresh juice. And they very specific way of making rum. They distill not once, not twice. I say 1.5. So they start to distill the juice, the wine, and the cane wine, and then for the second distillation, they distill a mixture of the first distillation and of cane wine. The result is that they distill a very, very low ABV. The maximum is around 50%, and the average is more 45. I distill rum in other countries. For instance, I distill rum in France. I distill rum in Cambodia, and usually when we arrive at 45, that's where we cut, and that's their heart. So it's very earthy. It's very grassy, and it's probably one of the most powerful in terms of taste white rum I know. So
I analyze the rums, in TNA, and the agricole rums from the French Caribbean, they are at around 350, and for the grog, it's around 800. So it's very, very high in perfume, but it's not very clean, because you can have some fermentation taste, some if you know mezcal and tequila, I would say it's very close to mezcal, and agricole will be the tequila. So one is clean and always the same. For the grog, it's always changing. So even the same distillery, you go in the morning, and in the afternoon, it doesn't have the same taste. They distill at a very high pace, so they are very small stills, and they make a distillation every half an hour. So it's very, very quick. It's very quick, and so there are very few cuts, and so the result is it's a very tasty rum. So it's probably one of the most tastiest one in the world, I think. And they don't have a tradition of aging rums. So what they call aged. So the rum there is called grog, and what they call aged grog is just grog rested in demijohn, so in glass demijohn. And I age rum a lot, and as they distill at 45, it's too low for aging, in fact. So it is made for being drinking neat. And I now have a company there, so in Cabo Verde. So I redistill their rums to make them higher, to put them in barrels. So I have also an aging warehouse in Cabo Verde for making something that they don't do, is age rum in oak barrels. So you tasted the white one.
Yeah, perfect. To be honest, I was very, very surprised. First of all, I tried this one this year or last year, but last year it was too late to put it in last year competition. So that's why I decided to do that this year, and I came to your stand in Paris this year to make sure do I really want to put this one in the competition. And yeah, I was super, super sure in that time. And yeah, judges, prove it that this was a good idea to put it in the competition. So again, I said it many times in this session. Now you did a great job, and you chose a very nice ram to your selection. I saw you have so many different rams at your stand every time that I need 2 hours to be there, and you have always a big queue there. You know that. We talked about that this year, and your stand was the one of the hardest stand to go. I mean, wait for you or your staff, and try some stuff with you. So yeah, this is a great job you did. So thank you very much, and thank you for coming.
Pleasure.
Thank you for coming. I know how busy you are, and congratulations. And let's wait for the main scores from the judges. We have judges from London, from Great Britain. Yeah, Great Britain. Did I say correctly? Poland, Germany, Benelux, Netherlands, somewhere in Czech Republic. I don't see him now. So many different countries, and now we have 30 judges. So yeah, a lot of work to do, and I wish you all the best. Thank you very much.
Pleasure. Cheers.
Thank you. We are almost in the end. Thank you for all of producers. And for we have Bintu here, we have Julian, do I say it correctly? Julian?
Guillaume.
Guillaume, okay.
Guillaume.
Oh yeah. I had the same thing with Florent Bouchet.
Flo-
I couldn't say his name. Who else here? Davy also here, and yeah, and that's it. So thank you very much, guys, to all of you. If you want, this is time for after meeting in Polish language. Or Joy, if you want, stay. Richard, Charlotte, where is Richard? I can hear you.
He's busy training, I'm afraid. So he's been on his in the garage.
Okay, but don't drink his stuff.
Can't promise if he's not here.
Yeah, okay. So so Joe, if you want to stay, Charlotte, if you want to stay, no problem, feel free. But always after that kind of meeting, we switch to Polish language to talk some about everything we tried already or just about RAM. So we are almost on time, 10:15. So
Yeah, I have to be up at 5:30, so I'm gonna go get ready for bed, I'm afraid.
Okay, get to go.
But
no problem.
Thank you so much. It was absolutely awesome, and thank you to all the producers and the brand ambassadors and the everyone for making it possible, because yeah, I love doing this. It's great fun.
Yeah. Now I'm waiting for your scores. Joe,
Yes.
I'm waiting for your scores also. We have to talk in private to say which RAM is which RAM, not about its names, but numbers only. And who has been to thank you very much. We will see each other on Wednesday. I'm waiting for you in Wrocław.
Thank you. I look forward to see you.
Yeah, and Guam.
Guillaume.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
I'm sorry. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Davey, you are still with us, Davey? Yes? No?
So goodbye.
No. And Philip, also I see Philip. I can see Philip now, and probably he also left. So
Goodbye, my friends. See you soon.
he's here.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm turning off recording and stopping sharing on Facebook. One more time. Thank you very much. Thank you that you are with me with this competition. Richard! Good to see you. Charlotte, don't drink his stuff, remember. So, thank you very much. And we are switching to the Polish language now.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I'm going to give you to speak in Polish and work on my scores so that I have something to give you for my scores. And you don't have to translate. So nice to see you, and thanks again to the producers. An amazing couple of hours of education, and thank you so much to Chris for organising an amazing competition. Again, I hope, like it said earlier, that this becomes a tradition. So it started now, so you have to keep it going.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Joe.
I'll head off. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Good night. Bye.